Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya. So we warmly welcome you for this program, and we appreciate your participation in these episodes to help others to learn the Buddha's teachings and also to heal your life with the teachings of the Buddha. So healing our mind, healing our life, or we can say purifying our mind, taming our mind, developing our mind. So these things like developing our mind, taming our mind is not easy as we think. Why? Buddha gave a nice simile for the true nature of our mind. In our mind, there are thoughts. Thoughts get generated according to what we see, according to what we hear, according to things that we smell. Now, if we smell something good, if it is a good, delicious food, what happens in our mind? What does the mind say? Go and do what? Hungry, feel like eating it. So, if we do not have enough money to buy that, what happens then? It is very expensive. Then more thoughts get produced in our mind. More thoughts will multiply. Then he will plan maybe to have it in next week and then to earn. So this mind, then if you experience something unpleasant, if you smell something bad, then what happens in the mind? Don't our face change? The face change. What about the mind? So Buddha said mind is chief for everything in life. In Pali it says Mano Pubbang Gama Dhamma. Mano is chief for everything. Mind is the main thing for everything. But most of the people, when they don't understand that mind is chief, they are more concerned about the body. When they are more concerned about the body and they are very careful about the body and they try to beautify the body and they try to protect their body and do many exercises and save money to overcome the diseases in the last stage of life, but not all our diseases can be cured with the help of all the medicine in the world. And just having money can't give long life for us. Money can't escape from us death. But then people try to gain happiness and they are more concerned about the body. And they try to expect happiness by having something material. So dear Dhamma friends, when we are not concerned about the mind, we will be concerned about other things. So Buddha preached our mind, the nature of our mind is it's like a fish pulled out from water. A fish taken out from water and put on ground. What happens? Doesn't it quiver? It quivers up and down. So then when it quivers like here and there, the fish, in the same way, our thoughts change from one thought to another thought. Sometimes we might experiencing a good mood, a pleasant nature, but all of a sudden that happiness can be taken away by a sound. Just hearing 2 words that can take away your happiness. Can't it happen? It can happen. Sometimes maybe just one word Just another 2 words can help you to have enormous happiness in life. So then Buddha preached, our mind goes on long journeys. Suppose if something happened miserable, maybe around 2 years ago, if you all of a sudden remember that now, it would have happened in your home countries back 2-3 years ago. But then if you see that person's photo in somewhere, what would occur in your mind? His good things, the good things he has done for us, or something miserable he has done for us? Mainly, if something has done something miserable, that will come up first. That's why Buddha said, try to see good in others always. It's like this. Suppose a person is going on a road, he's very thirsty. But then he's looking for water to drink, but he don't see a good place to drink. So he sees a pond, but there are plants all over the pond. There's a nice lake, but there are plants and flowers and weeds all over the water. So if we go and jump to that pond, what will happen? The water will get dirty. So if he needs to drink that water, he needs to push that weed and plants and whatever the other water plants, and slowly he has to sip the water. In the same way, when somebody has some evil qualities in another person's life, we should not recall those things. That is for him. In between, if he can recall his good qualities, whatever the good things he does, it could be like this. His verbal actions might be bad, but bodily actions might be good. So, if you just think about your friends and the people around you, and take some time from your day and try to practice, try to recall them and see good in others. Then when you train yourself like that, what happens when you have trained this for some time, for some period, when your mind is trained to see good in others, when something happens, if somebody do something bad for you, since your mind is trained to see good in others, the first thing that will happen in your mind is to recall his qualities. Since you are recalling a good quality of that person, you will forget that evil deeds that person has done. So according to good thoughts that maintain in your mind, so those thoughts that are generated is based on the other person's qualities, then you feel happy. Then you don't get angry with others. So when you see good in others, that will help you to calm your mind. That will help you to tame your mind. That will help you to develop your mind. So the mind goes on long journeys. Durangamang, Buddha said in Pali. So then Buddha preached this mind. This mind, when it's developed, it's good. When it's not developed with meditation and wisdom, then it's like a leaking house. It's like a leaking roof. When there's a house with a roof that is not very well roofed, when it rains, it leaks. In the same way, when people scold us, we get angry, when the mind is not developed. When we see beautiful things, we get attracted. Then when we get deceived, when people cheat us, if somebody dies immediately, we forget that everybody has to die one fine day. And that day can happen anytime. Death is unpredictable. These are the prior ideas that we should have in life. Then we will be able to avoid incidents. We will be able to avoid suffering in life. We will be aware the incidents that suffering might arise in life. Now for an example, separation from loved ones. Is it an incident that gives happiness to our life? Separation from loved ones. Don't everybody in this world have to separate from loved ones one day? In between life, from birth to death, somebody will die, somebody will leave. Then sadness arises. But then when you know early itself that this is there in life, separation from loved one is something present in life. And if we do not have craving in our mind towards external people, then we won't suffer. If we do not have attachment towards others, we don't suffer. So you might be wondering, without attachment, then how can we help others? On behalf of attachment, we should have loving kindness. We should have compassion. That loving kindness and compassion that we have is without expectation. Is it clear? So when we help others without expectation, even that person don't help us in return, we don't get angry. So, dear Dhamma friends, so these teachings, the Buddha's teachings is to develop our mind. So to develop our mind, we should first of all learn the true nature of the mind. And then the ways to develop our mind. And then from the Buddha's teachings, Buddha preaches the danger when you don't develop your mind. The danger is when you don't develop your mind, Buddha said, when you have unpleasant thoughts in the mind, your verbal actions also will be unpleasant. When a person has an angry mind, will he able to perform good verbal actions from his mouth? No. When a person is angry, he take revenge. He talk bad about others. When a person's mind is polluted by lust, he don't recognize his relatives even. He will forget that he has a wife. A wife will forget that he will have a husband. They will forget that they forget that they have a commitment in life. That's where families break. This lust should be controlled. When you can't control this lust, that's where people fall in trouble. That's where, because of other people, like if there's one person who can't control lust, the other people will be harmed by him. Go to the prison and see how the reason for them to go into the prison. The reason for these people to go to the prison, either something based on anger, either something based on lust, either something based on delusion. Some people fight for their properties. Some people fight for their lands. Some people fight for their wealth. But then see, just for like 80, 90 years, people are fighting. And one day they have to leave these things and go. But the bad karma that you accumulate by doing bad things, the bad name that you get, that will remain. So that's why we should tame our mind. We should develop our mind. We should learn more about our mind and try to make our mind peaceful, and that will help us to live happily. So in next episode, we will learn how to do good actions from body, speech and mind, and how those things can help us in life and also in next life. So may you be able to develop the mind, and may you have the opportunity to learn more about the mind and tame your mind once and for all, and reach the ultimate happiness of Nibbana in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Namo Buddhaya.